This conference will now be recorded.
All right.
Okay. Annually, the City of Kingston receives an entitlement grant allocation through the United States Department of Housing and Urban Development. We get the Cdbg development grant. We don't have to apply for it because of the size of the city. We automatically get funding, and the City of Kingston's Office of Economic and Community Development. We've prepared a 5-year consolidated plan, which serves as the long-range plan for the spending of the city's annual CDBG allocations. And the plan sets forth the community needs, the long-range program goals, and specific program objectives, annual goals and benchmarks for the measurement of the program's progresses. The city also prepared its annual action plan. The city must also prepare its annual action plan for 2021, which runs from July 1st through June 30th of 2022. This is a short-term plan detailing the use of the upcoming fiscal year's allocation, and we're estimating it to be approximately $700,000. That could be more or it could be less. On October 13th of 2020, applications to request funding for the proposed projects or programs for fiscal year 2021 action plan became available, and those interested in applying can print the application from the city's website, or they can be emailed upon request. The complete application will be accepted until noon on Friday, January 8th, and you can send them to apeterson@kingston-ny.gov, and Amy will take care of making sure that everybody who needs to see the applications will get them. For further information on how to get them to her, if you don't want to email them, you can call her at 845-417-3281, or you can call myself at 334-3930. Public comments regarding specific projects or program priorities will be included in the consolidated and annual action plans that have been collected over the past year and continue to be accepted at the Office of Community Development at any time. The citizens of Kingston are also invited to participate in informal sessions and public hearings for the 2021 action plan. And this year, groups and organizations are allowed to request CDBG funding for eligible programs only, not projects. These programs must take place within the City of Kingston and must serve eligible residents who reside within the city. A list of eligible activities and threshold criteria required by the U.S. Code of Federal Regulations, Section 24, Part 570, are included in the application packet. This funding application process is an annual and competitive one and proceeds as follows. Each application is reviewed and verified to meet mandatory federal eligibility requirements and to determine if the project or program supports the priorities that are set forth in the city's 5-year consolidated plan. For additional information, the 5-year plan can be found on the city's website, and applications are reviewed for eligibility and completeness. If an application is incomplete, it will not qualify for review. When Amy receives all of these applications, she reviews them, and if she has any questions, she reaches out to make sure that somebody's information is all there. Applicants are required to submit all of the requested information at the time of submission. The goal of the CDBG program is to develop viable urban communities through housing, economic development, elimination of slums and blight, expansion of community services, and neighborhood revitalization. The primary objective of the CDBG program is to benefit persons of low and moderate income. By regulation, the city must allocate at least 70% of its annual CDBG funding on activities that benefit low to moderate income households and neighborhoods. The actual regulations can be found in the Code of Regulations in Volume 24, Part 570 for the Community Development Block Grants. Since this year's application only allow for groups or organizations to apply for program funding that will amount for 15% of the annual allocation from HUD. The 15% is capped according to HUD's regulations. It's not the city. Applicants should only apply if they are either beginning a new program or are significantly expanding on a program that they are already running. Within the application, you will find a description of eligible and ineligible activities for public service programs. Each applicant must have a valid and current registered DUNS number. It's required at the time of your application. If you do not have a DUNS number, HUD will not consider your application for complete review. Application materials became available on November 13th and are due on January 8th of 2021. During the application stage, staff is available to provide technical assistance to assist in the development of any application for CDBG funding. The City of Kingston will hold 5 public informational hearings or sessions and 1 public hearing to receive public comment on the proposed funding applications for the city's fiscal year 2021 entitlement grant. Comments and proposals relating to the entitlement program may be submitted at any time during the program year to the Office of Community Development. The Mayor, Community Development Director, Common Council's Community Development Committee, and the Community Development Advisory Board review all submitted applications for adherence to HUD eligibility requirements and examine them with respect to the prioritized needs outlined in the city's consolidated plan. I do apologize, I don't have my glasses on, so it's a little difficult to read this. The mayor takes into consideration the public comment and recommendations of the board and then offers a final recommendation to the Common Council. Prior to the council's vote, the recommended slate of projects is published in the Daily Freeman following a 30-day public review and comment period. After that comment period, the Common Council votes on the annual slate of activities and the Community Development Director submits the final plan to HUD for approval in May. Amy, would you like to add anything to this?
No, you were doing great. Are you at a stopping point? Do you want me to continue or?
I'm good. You can tell them what you would like to see with applications.
Okay, well, Rhea, as you know, that there's the same 8 exhibits plus the NEPA, the application acknowledgements, and the spreadsheet and the cover sheet. As Mandy aforementioned, I think as I have as well. So there's only programs, and we can only do new or significantly expanding, and I don't know what that means. Program, so that if you are currently running a program, if you're running it without our funding, you would not be eligible. Do you have an idea in mind of what you want to do this year?
Yes, we're doing a coding club.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's brand new. It's already partially funded. So we're by a private foundation. We're very excited. Now, one concern I have is that I'm not entirely sure if I'm remembering correctly, but I think this is a program that was established specifically for girls to, and the logic behind that is to fix the gender imbalance in the computer science field. Would the fact that it's devoted specifically to girls rule it out?
I think so. That's discrimination.
Okay, so that's what I thought. Okay, we'll either come up with a different program for you, or change that.
Yeah. Now remember they have to still be LMI, low to moderate income.
Yeah. Well, that goes without saying for CDBG. Right. Yeah, that was never in question. The question was whether or not catering to attempting to fix the gender imbalance in.
Oh, no, I totally support it. A couple of questions. Was this going to be an after-school program, summer program, weekends?
It's an out of school program. That's what I know.
All right. What age group were you thinking?
Teens.
Okay. All right. You know, boys could probably benefit from it too. You know, especially LMI. The only other major changes in reimbursement and documentation requirements are we cannot accept an admin line. It has to be program delivery, which requires documentation of time spent by the person who is administering the grant, whether it's making photocopies or, you know, assembling documents. You know, we used to do accept like a flat percentage. We can no longer do. You can calculate it based on a flat percentage. If you're asking for 15,000 and you want 10%, you know, it would be 1,500. So, you know, 13,500 plus 1,500. But we would need whomever, whether it's Jennifer or Heidi or you, to supply documentation of, you know, the time spent on your program. I mean, I'm not, you could BS me all you want on your timesheets, but I would need payroll to back it up. And
Okay.
the other change is, well, it's not really change, it's just we're now being more diligent, is on your applications, you know, for your participants, we will need some type of self-certifying income statement.
What does
you know.
that mean?
Well, you know, we don't need proof that they're LMI, such as, I mean, if they want to show you a HEAP card or any public assistance, that would be fine. But we would supply you like with a like number in household and income ranges for them to check off, circle, however we can format it.
Okay. So you're
because
going to make the
direct
form.
benefit
That's good.
I'm sorry?
So you're gonna make a form. That's good. And
Well,
now, are
I mean,
you going to?
adapt it,
No. I like it if you make it, Amy. That way, I know it's got on it what you need.
but, okay.
That really, seriously, I don't want to guess.
Okay.
The question I have is, will this be anonymous? That is, do you need one form with an individual's name on it for each participant? Or am I going to give you a form that says 6 people have 10 to 20,000 a year and 7 people have 20 to 30?
Yeah, our HUD rep has been a bit of a stickler on that issue because we have a lot of people who are uncomfortable with it. But we need some type of affirmation from the applicants. And now let me ask you a question. Is this going to be a free program or is there going to be a tuition? Will they pay?
It would be free.
Okay, so
It's
there's no
free.
scholarship.
Nope, it's a free program. It's
All right, so if it's free, how does anybody know whether or not they would be income eligible? Because then anybody could participate.
okay.
So that's why, and we would need, you know, as Mandy said, like 70% of your participants. I don't know, it could be 70% overall. I think 50%, you know, for each individual program, as long as our overall goal. But, you know, we also would need your applications to determine residency to make sure that the majority by far is, I would say at least 70% are from the city of Kingston. So on
Okay.
that form, we would need somehow to determine I'm trying to think of a way it can be anonymous, but I had designed one form and my HUD rep didn't like it because there was no signature required from a parent or guardian. And so it's one by one. I can ask them again, and maybe I'm wrong because you're the third person who, the best verb I could use is like bristle. I mean, people are really uncomfortable with it. You know, if it was an area benefit like the library and you're doing an amphitheater and it's a neighborhood, that's one thing. Like, or a food pantry, because even a food pantry, you know, they have to show that they're eligible, you know, for groceries. But when we do a direct benefit, you know, for a low LMC, low to moderate clientele, we need proof that they are income eligible.
Yeah. Let me urge you, request you, beg of you, please, please, please get me the range for that, for acceptable ranges for the income, please. I need that as soon as possible. It's going to shape how I write my application.
Okay. I will get on that. Mandy, remind me tomorrow.
even if you're not sending out the form, just, you know, an email with the ranges of income would be very helpful.
I sent it to somebody last night.
I'm sorry?
I said I can do that right now because I sent it to somebody last night, just the income levels.
Oh, good. Okay.
And then, you know, we can work on the format. And I will ask once again our HUD rep, because I have asked him like now at least 2 times. He's going to get tired of me asking.
Well, just so you know, I mean, anything that we get when it comes to income levels on anybody, that kind of stuff is not for the public to see. I mean, we have to have that in our office because we get audited by HUD and they come in to make sure that we're in compliance. But not like somebody can foil us and say, you know, I want to see what the financial, you know, information is for YWCA for their clients. I mean, we can't do that. That's, you know, anything financial is
confidential. Yeah, sure. Okay. Are you going to then keep those forms, or are you going to send a stack of them to HUD?
We keep them, but, you know, we get audited, I think annually. Do we get audited, Mandy?
We do now.
And no, they do not get, you know, they stay inside City Hall.
Okay.
But,
well, that's helpful.
Or HUD could very well, you know, randomly choose that file, and they're going to say how, you know, what proof do you have that these people are LMI residents of Kingston?
Okay. All right, good.
You are not obligated to have everybody from Kingston. It's not like, you know, it's for Kingston only.
Sure.
But, you know, it has to be reason. Do you have some idea about how much you're going to be asking for, or do you not want to tell me yet?
I haven't got this. I haven't got it in my head. Let me see if I can quickly dig something out for you. I'm not sure I can.
It's just, you know, like, if let's suppose you're asking for $15,000 and you have 15 kids. You know, like $1,000 a kid, you know, really would probably not go over really well.
No, I'm thinking it wouldn't.
Yeah.
That's not a very good
not a good return.
Not a very good ratio. Yeah.
Right.
Not a good return on investment.
Right. So, you know, the way our HUD rep had also put it is you could almost calculate it as, you know, like per kid. So let's suppose your project is 20,000, and you ask for 10 from us. Then we would require that like 50% of your population are residents of the city. If we're paying for half of the project, then half of your kids have to be from the city of Kingston.
That's good. That makes sense.
the majority of the kids will come from the city of Kingston.
Okay. Now let me ask you a different question, because I finally got this information in front of me.
The one I just sent you?
What would it be appropriate if we asked for funding for multiple programs?
I would put them on multiple applications unless they are all what we call activities. Like if it's education, that would be fine, but you couldn't do childcare, food
No.
pantry, and
No.
coding.
Mhm. Okay.
So,
I'm just
because when we are telling HUD what activities we're doing,
yes,
each activity has its own code, matrix code.
sure.
And so each application, if they're different activities, you would need to do different applications.
Ah, okay.
So what else were you thinking of? Are you still
I'm
working on there?
just looking at the dollar amount that we were short for that program, and realizing that it might be something we don't want to ask you for, and rather might want to combine it with something else. Here's a
Oh, you
second,
mean the
a
coding one?
completely, sorry?
You mean the coding one that's for young women?
Yes, exactly. I'm seeing that it's
Oh,
95. It looks like it's 95% funded.
Oh, good.
So, yeah. And the other things I'm looking at right now are old. I confess I was not prepared to have much of a conversation with you. Because it was supposed to be it was on a YouTube channel, I figured I would just be passively watching, and so I didn't prepare for this conversation at all. So I'm with embarrassment and apologies, I must say that I cannot give you the answers that I should be able to give you at this point.
No, that's fine. This is informational, but we love questions.
Okay, well, Amy knows that I'm very comfortable emailing her and calling her and asking her questions. So that I think I will do that as this comes up. The fact that we cannot do girls only programs is something that had just sort of hit me, and I'm thinking about I'm rethinking some of our ideas.
Okay.
We've got a whole bunch of ideas floating around in our heads, and we will see what comes out.
I mean, I could be wrong. We can check with our HUD rep, but I'm pretty sure that would not fly.
I wouldn't be surprised if it doesn't. The only reason I'm thinking it might is because this is kind of like an affirmative action program,
Right.
that it's we're educating girls because they are so scarce in computer science.
Right. Ulster Bosse's did that several years ago. It was in the summertime, and it was called Trading Places, and my daughter participated, and she built a rowboat. But the boys learned cooking and sewing, and the little girls learned to code and build a rowboat. So, they were somehow able to get away with it. As I said, I might be incorrect. I would be surprised if I was incorrect. But
Was it funded by Cdbg?
no,
Yeah.
but BOCES, they have so many grants.
Right.
I don't know. And that's why I don't know what your private grant is, but they must not care. But CDBG all throughout is non-discrimination. So
Yeah. That's why when you said that's why I asked that question was because I was
Now,
pretty sure I
then
knew
there's
the
another,
answer.
really crazy one, and I can run this by our hub rep too, is if you did a counterbalance one for boys only, they learned how to cook or something. I don't know.
Yeah, that's how BOCES got away with it. Is they called it one program. They called it
Right.
switching places, and therefore it had two halves.
Right.
And it was years ago. Also, that might not
my
what
daughter
you could do
was
years
about
ago
12,
isn't what
27.
you can do now.
Right.
Okay, well, I'm not even going to trouble you to ask HUD about this. I think I'm going to accept your greater wisdom. You've been doing this a long time. And I'm going to go back to the drawing board with our, basically what I'm going to do is ask Heidi if she's got other ideas. This one was my idea, and it was just as I said, I thought I would be listening. So it's just something I grabbed at the last possible second when you said, "You're the only one here. What questions do you have?" I went, So is there anybody else who needs
to look into, because this would be part of the STEM,
right?
Science, technology, engineering, and math.
Yes.
I'll ask. I could be wrong. I've been wrong before, many times.
Okay. Well, yeah. I mean, there is an understanding amongst educators. I don't know that means it's an understanding in HUD, that there are too few women in STEM.
Right.
So, and I believe the focus was also, most programs the Y does are well attended by people of color and
Right.
who are also underrepresented in STEM.
Absolutely.
So it might be and when I wrote the grant for the private foundation, which by the way is thrilled to do things for girls, specifically, they like that. I did discuss it as a program that existed to fix that imbalance, and had some good quotes about the existence of that imbalance.
Right. I think it's great. I totally support it. I don't know if Ben Carson will. And Ben Carson probably won't be there after January 20th anyway. So I will find out. But if you want to call me tomorrow or anytime, to bandy about other ideas, I'll be happy, or call Mandy.
Very good.
And develop something.
Very good. I thank you very much. I'm going to let you go and have an evening now.
All right. Well, thanks. It was great to chat with you, Rhea.
It's always lovely talking to you, Amy. Mandy, it's nice to meet you. I hope to get to see you in person someday.
Yeah, in the flesh.
Sooner or later.
Yes.
All right.
Okay.
Have a good night.
Thank you.
Later.
Bye-bye.
Good night, Rhea. So we can try. I could be wrong. Maybe they might make an exception for STEM. I don't know.
We'll see.
We'll see. All right, that's it. 6:30. We get to 6:36.
Can I stop the recording now?
Yes, you may.